Rosh Hashanah is coming. How does that make you feel? Worried? Excited? Apathetic? Anybody? Scared. What are you scared of? Judgment. Rosh Hashanah is a festival, you know. It's a chag. There's a mitzvah, v'samachta b'chagecha. You're supposed to be happy. How are you happy on a day of judgment? Besides, what are we celebrating? What are we celebrating? We're celebrating judgment. We're celebrating judgment. I always thought Jews were weird, huh? Why do we celebrate judgment? You know what judgment is? Judgment is all about responsibility. We are responsible for ourselves. If we make the right choices, we can get the credit. We've built ourselves. We mess up, we suffer the consequences. There's something special about being responsible, being independent. Man is the only creation that can be held responsible for anything because we're the only ones that have free will. Animals don't have free will. Angels don't have free will. Only humans. And we were created for the purpose of using our free will. Being responsible for ourselves. I know this sounds a little too mature, but what can I tell you? That's what Rosh Hashanah is about. On Rosh Hashanah, we grow up. We grow up and we celebrate responsibility. Celebrating means we buy into it. It doesn't mean we surrender to it. It means we learn to love it. Now, you got to tune into yourself. I know these things sound so way out, but you got to tune into yourself. Yeah, I know it sounds like mom talking. You brush your teeth. No, but come on, for real. For real, what feels better? Giving or taking? Honestly, what feels better? Giving, of course. What feels better? Doing what you feel like or being in control of yourself? doing what you know is right? What feels better? When Chazal tell us, Ezeu Gibor, who's the mighty one? HaKovesh is Yitzro, the one who controls himself. You feel it. You feel that strength. I don't know, when you have fun, how good does that feel? When it's over, so what happens? How long can you talk about it already? Feel good or you feel empty? Deep down, we really enjoy responsibility. There's nothing like it. Yeah, freeloading is fun. You don't feel good about yourself. When do you feel good about yourself? When you work hard. There's nothing like the hard work of building yourself, of taking responsibility for yourself. Rosh Hashanah is about making Hashem your king, your melech. What does it mean to make him your melech? So they tell us, it's all of the Malden, the Grol, all of those that deal with words, with text. They go through the synonyms in Torah and they say that none of them are exactly the same. There's a melech and there's a moshel. A king and a ruler. What's the difference between a melech and a moshel? A melech, the king, long live the king. A king is one that you rally behind. He's your king. You believe in him. You buy into him. You're proud of him. And there's a moshel who's the ruler who rules over you and you only wish you can get rid of him. But you got to surrender so long as he's there. So many people got it wrong. They sort of come to shul on Rosh Hashanah out of guilt. Even that's going out of style. They sort of surrender to Hashem. That's not making him your melech. That's surrendering to the ruler, to the bully in the sky. Making Hashem your melech means you buy into it. Wow, this is the greatest. So we know Hashem loves. We exist because he loves. We exist because Hashem gives. And what he gives is he gives us the opportunity to build ourselves and build a relationship with him. And that's the greatest. But first and foremost, it's the fact that we're responsible. We do it ourselves. We have to build ourselves. He created every one of us with instincts that counter what's right. He created every one of us with a unique collection of character flaws. It was no accident. It was well thought out. He's given us a mission in life to go and perfect ourselves. Rosh Hashanah is buying into that. Living for the sake of growing. So you took a very good first step. You came here. But if you really want to make Hashem your king on Rosh Hashanah, you got to buy into it. You want to work hard and become a greater person. Beginning with midos. Be giving and caring and not jealous and not angry, not impatient. Do what you know is right and not what your instincts tell you to do. To really take charge of yourself. And eventually take responsibility for the whole of the Jewish people. But starting with yourselves. What is the judgment of Rosh Hashanah? It's not like Yom Kippur. We're not dealing with sitting there and thinking over what are all the rotten things I did over the past year. The essence of Rosh Hashanah is, what do you live for? You know, the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, the first two of the Aseret Yemei Tshuva. Yet you're not supposed to say, I sinned. You're not supposed to mention sin on Rosh Hashanah. In Avinu Malkeinu, it says, Chatanu Lufanech, we have sinned. And we're told to read it, Chatanu Lufanecha, our ancestors sinned. But us, the next Avinu Malkeinu, Ein Lanu Melech El Ata, you are a king. We have no one else. Rosh Hashanah is not a day of going through all the things you've done in the past. Rosh Hashanah is a day of, what do you live for? It's committing yourself to Hashem's plan. And what's his plan? For every one of us to perfect himself, to take responsibility for himself, to learn to care for others and not be self-centered, to be interested in truth, to develop a relationship with Hashem. So people look for, how do you win on Rosh Hashanah? How do you get yourself a good year? Simple. You buy into what Hashem put you here for. That's what it's about. And you care enough to daven that every single human being should understand that they were created. You want Hashem to reveal himself. It bugs you to no end that most of humanity doesn't know they were created. Making him your king. That's buying into his plan. Deciding what you live for. What do you live for? What do you live for? What is it worth living for? How much fun can you have here anyway? Besides, you're going to grow up and there'll be less room for fun. So what do you live for? You live to grow. You live to grow. You live to share. And yes, you live to develop a relationship with Hashem who only loves. That's what you live for. I'm not sure what terms to put it in to make it appropriate and not sound too dreamy. If we talk of a relationship with Hashem, you got to learn to talk to Him. He listens. Share your feelings with Him. For real. He's really there. He listens. And in His own way, He answers. We're not Nevi'im. We don't have prophecy, so we don't hear His voice. But He's so involved in our lives that you get your answer. Got to remember, He created you because He loves. He's there for you. Your character. Yeah, there's so much to work on, but try something. Try something. What is it that you know is part of your personality and you don't want it to be? Let's see you start tackling it. See how good it feels. See how good it feels not to say something you feel like saying because you know it's hurtful. Feels so good. And gradually taking more and more control of every word that comes out of your mouth. Develop a taste for self-control, and see how good it feels. So that you can come on Rosh Hashanah and say, Hashem, you're my king. I vote for you. Yeah, you're growing up. Truth is, that's what a bar mitzvah is about. It's celebrating responsibility. Just, I'm not sure a 13-year-old really understands what it is that he's celebrating. Rosh Hashanah is very clear. Make Hashem your king, not your ruler. It's not like you're stuck. You got to start feeling how good it is. You know, you're at a stage of life where you have to grow up and start taking things seriously. And if you discover what really makes you happy, what really makes you feel good, you'll be fortunate. And not spend the rest of your life complaining or lying to yourself. Yeah, we celebrate responsibility. We may be a funny people, but we're wise. Whatever it is that we earned it, and we're happy with that. We're glad to be accountable. The Zohar says that when you blow shofar, you're calling the Beis Din Shel Ma'ala, the heavenly court. You're calling them to begin judging. See, this is Rosh Hashanah. It's celebrating judgment and accountability. So much so that you're calling the heavenly courts to sit down together. And the Zohar says, if you know that secret, if you're buying into responsibility, then you're going to win. Because that is what you're being judged on. It's not your every action. It's what you're about. And if you're asking for judgment, then you're on the right side. Is this too much? I don't know. Been a while since I was your age. Could be this is too heavy. I just don't know what your next opportunity is going to be to hear it. And believe me, the earlier you buy in, the more pleasant life is going to be. Do you like being impatient? Do you like being stuck in traffic and looking at your watch every 30 seconds? And honking nonstop and making everyone around you feel uncomfortable? Do you like being jealous? Do you like being hurt every time someone around you is successful? Do you like getting angry and then saying things you'll regret? You enjoy that? Don't you want to be able to be in control of yourself? That's what we were created for. And the sooner you learn to enjoy that, the higher the quality of life you're gonna have. I'm not talking about the world to come, of course. I'm talking about this world. You be a happy person. The sooner you buy into this, the better. You know, sometimes you meet elderly people and you realize that they haven't grown since they were adolescents. Nothing's really changed. Just the wrinkles. They are as impatient and selfish and self-centered and angry as they ever were. All their life experience taught them nothing. And it's so sad. Listen, you gotta start. You gotta start. If you don't start in Jerusalem, where is it gonna start? Got to take responsibility for yourself for your own sake, for your own quality of life. And that's how Hashem made the world. And Rosh Hashanah is buying in. So celebrate judgment. Celebrate responsibility. The more you try it, the more you take control of yourself, the more you're going to want to buy in. Because there's nothing like it. It feels so good and so right and so wholesome and so lasting. And you're going to be so much better as a friend, as company. People won't have to dance around you and put up with you. They can be straight with you. You won't have enemies. Everyone's got enemies, but you won't have too many. You won't be vulnerable. Naturally, we're in need of everyone's approval. Anyone says something negative about us, we're devastated. You take responsibility for yourself. You know whom you are. You believe in yourself. You're not frail. You're not vulnerable. What anyone else has to tell you about yourself, you know is untrue, and it just won't affect you. People suffer so much from lack of self-esteem, negative self-image. When you build yourself, when you're working on yourself, you stop doing the things that make you feel awful about yourself. You move in the right direction. You believe in yourself. You're happy, and no one can deprive you of that happiness. It's worth it. Buy in. Make Hashem your king. Don't surrender. Make him your king. With an excitement. Okay, I said enough. Any question? Any questions? Yeah.
What's the first step? How do you buy in?
Take something in your character that you want to change. Choose something doable, something that'll make a real difference to you, and start working on it. Take different situations where you know you're challenged, and start one by one, planning on how to deal with them and then charting yourself. You know there's someone who gets on your nerves, and you don't like the way you behave in that person's presence. So what's going to happen next time you meet? What are you going to do? See that through a couple of times. First of all, you already feel great. You already develop a momentum. Okay, what's the next situation where you're not at your best behavior that you're willing to deal with? You do that and it feels great. And then it's going to build. You go from one to the next to the next. Don't undertake anything that's beyond you. But so much of the stuff that we really have to deal with, we can deal with. We just never bother. Anyone else? Yeah.
So how do you find the pure one for Hashem's judgment? Because there's a lot of things we don't want Hashem to judge us for.
The judgment on Rosh Hashanah is about what you live for. What we want him to do is buy in to our taking responsibility for ourselves. We want him to give us everything necessary so that we're going to be able to take control of ourselves.
Including the punishments?
I don't like using the word punishments. There's no reason why God has to punish us in this world. We can always make up for it. You don't give the bill till the job's over. We can correct ourselves. There are times he's got to wake us up. If necessary, we have to take it, but we hope that we'll wake ourselves up and we won't need it. Yeah, we are looking for guidance, but we're also looking for everything that it takes. Yes, the health and the means, all the situations that are going to add to our ability to grow. But bottom line, what it's about is our taking responsibility for ourselves. If we do that, we're judged for what we stand for on Rosh Hashanah. And number one, you'll do okay. There's nothing to worry about. And number two, Hashem's good. Hashem's good. He'll provide. He'll do better than we do. Yeah.
So you said before that like humans are the only like people accountable because they have free will. But then why was the like Satan punished for like tempting?
The truth of the matter is, the Satan, the Yetzer Hara, that are really a white angel that is there to give us the challenges so that we can earn building ourselves. He's really a good guy. The problem is he does such a good job. He does such a good job that Hashem ultimately will diminish him and get rid of him. In other words, it's not a personal punishment because he's bad. It's just that he ended up making such a mess of humanity that ultimately Hashem will get rid of him. He will slaughter him. Okay. Have a great Rosh Hashanah and a great year.